Alright, we're going to do the 327 teardown, and hopefully I can rebuild it real cheap, and we'll put it back in the truck since 454 hits the firewall too hard. I don't want to dent the firewall back in. I don't want to have to cut my cross member out because my bell housing bolts to my cross member. I don't want to cut it out and have to mess around moving that yet. I'll do that later on when I tear the whole truck completely down. I'll move it so I can put a big block in it then. So for now we're going to do this 327. We're going to tear it down today, figure out what all is in it, what I need to order, all that kind of stuff. And then this here little engine stand that I put the 454 on. I put this cart together when I was probably about 18 years old, maybe 16 years old. I was pretty young. Well, I didn't do a very good job of it. It's got two big wheels. They're supposed to be on this end, I'm assuming, because there's two of them. And then it's got three little wheels. That one, and that one. I had one big one right there, and the other big one up here I had down on that end. So I had a little wheel there, and a little wheel there, and a little wheel there. When I was rolling it on the cement, I was like, this don't move very good. So I lubed them up. I was spraying oil in them, getting them to where I could spin them and use them. And that's when I discovered that two of them are bigger, and they were supposed to be on the front. So I moved the wheels around, got that all took care of, got them all lubed up so they spin and move easy. So that's pretty good, I think, I hope. So I'm going to flip this around. I'll get this little motor bolted up to this thing. We'll start documenting tearing it apart. You know, put it in the 66 so that I can take it to the car show in a few months. Give me some time to get the motor built and hopefully broke in a little bit before I go. And I got that antler mounted on the back of this thing. Tried to center it up, getting center in the middle of the motor. Tried to center it up and down wise best I could. Got this flip back over how it's supposed to be. So one thing that sucks about these style of legs that go out, and your cherry picker legs that come in, they don't go in and meet each other very well. So it's kind of hard to get your motor into it. I have another one that's got a single leg out the front, but it tends to tip over a little bit easier. But it's got a 340 Dodge on it right now, so can't use it. It's at the other shop. So alright, so I got my engine on my engine stand. In order to get it on there, I have to put it on kind of cattywampus and then yank it back around, and it's kind of scary and ugly at the same time, but I got it on there. I kind of wish this thing was a little bit longer. If it was longer, then I could make it work coming straight in. Only needs to be like 3 or 4 inches longer, and then it would work. But she's on there, so we'll start on it. Well, got the intake manifold pulled off. Them old cast iron ones are heavy. I'm going to try to get an aluminum one put back on it when it goes back together. Everything in it looks pretty good. So pull the heads off, pull valve covers and heads, and we'll see what the numbers on the pistons are. See if she's bored over. I kind of think she is. I'm pretty sure she's been rebuilt at least once. Alright, I got that head off. This head is a 3795896. Is that a GM5 right there? That's that number. Then it's got that a 93 or something and a 13. I don't know. So I'm going to pop this head off. Look at it. This one, I wire wheeled that off a little bit so I can see it. It's a freaking board over 10. They're all stamped 10. But this front one was pretty sooty. That one's pretty sooty. She's a pretty warm motor, but as far as cylinder wall, she don't look too bad. I might just be able to re-ring it, but I'll probably have it board over another 10. Go from there. I'll pop this head off and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, we're back at it. I got the shop dog with me. Got this head popped off. I don't know what that is, but more of the same. They're all stamped 10. Except for that one, looks like it's something else. 10 something. Can't imagine one of our two of them being over like 30 or something. But I don't know. A little bit of a fingernail lip in it. Well, that one's got a lot of ring ridge. I don't feel bad at all. So, that's what that is.
Why did you change it?
Because I'm videoing this so I can have an idea of what I did here, have a record of it. Alright, so on number 1, I stamped number 1 bearing right there. And it's all on this side of the motor. And I stamped 1 and 2. And then I stamped this one as a 2 also. And I stamped it on the outside edge. And I stamped it on right there. And then I did all of them like that. 7 and 8. I didn't stamp the back one because it's obviously the oil pump one that can't be interchanged with any of the others. So she's marked up. Alright, I pulled that main bearing, I think it was also. And that main bearing, yeah, it was the third one back. And it's got wear in it, but it's not. The crankshaft ain't hurt. Motor never has been run out of oil. It's had oil in it forever, and it didn't make no noise. I didn't have a rod knock or anything like that. Like, it sounded good. It was a good motor. It just wore out. Just an old wore out 327. So Monday I'll call machine shops, and we will be hauling her up. Hopefully I can take, if I go up north with one, I'll take it up probably Wednesday. We're going to go to a concert on Wednesday, so not really a concert, a guy that talks to his puppets, ventriloquist or whatever he is. We're going to go see Bubba J and Walter on Wednesday, so we'll go do that. Maybe I'll drop this off and get it done then. I might go to Grand Junction. The guy I used to do motors in Richfield, don't do them no more. He's retired, so has been for a few years. So I'll probably have to either go to Grand Junction or go up north. I don't know. Yeah, there's the 454. There's my 327. The 454 ain't in here because it's my firewall back there too hard. The motor mounts are easy to change. I can just unbolt them, slide them forward to make them work. But my bell housing bolts down to my cross member right there, so I'd have to slide it forward. And it rises, so the more further I go forward, the more it rises. So I got a dilemma with that. And then my clutch linkage bolts to the motor, which I was going to build a bracket to come out to hook my clutch linkage up to. But my clutch, so that was doable. I didn't want to beat in my firewall because it's a truck that I plan on having as a show truck forever. and I don't want a big old dented in thing. My cross member, I could cut it on both sides, weld a piece of plate in on each side and slide the center part forward to move my tranny forward, but then I'd have to lengthen my drive line. And so I've decided I'm going to, obviously, because you see my 327, I started tearing it down. I'm going to tear it completely down, take it to machine shop this week, get it bored over another 10 thousandths. It's bored to 10 right now, but we'll bore it a little bit more. Put all new pistons, rings, everything in it. Complete rebuild on it. And then we will have the little 327 back in here to go to Moab for car show, which would be a good time. So I'm going to save the 454. I'll put it in it at a later date, but I'll save it, and when I tear the truck completely down in the next year or so and completely redo it from frame up, I'm going to move the motor mounts forward, and I'm going to move the bell housing. I'm going to cut the cross member, just move it forward that same exact amount, and make it so it is big block capable, so I can put a big block in it later, but just not right now. Kind of sucks to put some money into a motor I can't put in it yet, but and I could if I didn't care. If I didn't care, I could beat the firewall in on both sides. It's only got to go like 1.5 inches, so I could beat them in, or I could cut them, weld plates in, but I want to try to keep it as close as I can, so that's what the plan is now. 327 again. Well, I got the 327 tore completely down. It's all the pistons right there for it. One of them has one skirt that is got the very tip of it, like right here, busted off. I didn't find it anywhere in the motor, so, and it's way dirty, like it's been like that for a while. And I got all the main journals right there and bolts. All the cylinder holes. Now they're completely tore down. Go do something with her. I'll find out tomorrow. There's crankshaft. It looks way good. And it is a small journal crankshaft. That kind of made me sad. I was hoping it was the big journal, just because then I could go to a 350 crank if I wanted to. Make her a little bit bigger motor, but and then the piston rings in it. I couldn't believe when I pulled it out. Well, right there's half of one. That's a half one off of a different cylinder. There should be a couple of them over here. There was 5 pistons that had broken top rings on them. None of the bottom ring was broke, and none of the oil rings looked too bad. But 5 of the top compression rings was broke. So she was definitely hurt. And she had a lot of blow-by. I had to run a tube off the top of the motor with a hose down below the truck, so a blow-by would go underneath the cab so you couldn't smell it so bad inside the truck. So she was wore out. But I'm glad she's tore down. Now that she's tore down, I can start with the next step of putting my hot rod together, which would be nice to have.